Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey back with another video. I know it's been a while, but I am back. So, you guys really had lit up my message box, or boxes I should say, when it was pertaining to that last video I put up about interlinks and soul ties. About the notion of whether it could possibly be a thing where individuals could be tied to one another and not have crossed paths with one another yet. The answer is yes, it is possible. People fail to realize, again, I keep saying this over and over and over. You're spiritual beings having a human experience. Furthermore, you guys have to understand, for those who don't know, this is not our first rodeo. Okay, so, and what I meant by that statement when I've said it in past videos is that we have, in fact, lived past lifetimes prior in various forms, in various roles. That is a bit conspicuous compared to what we are looking at today. Now, what's interesting is because the certain things that we do within our day-to-day, it could be remnants of what we may have done in our previous lives. I'm trying to think if I should give you an example of my scenario because it's kind of interesting. I, too, as you can imagine, have this thing I'm dealing with in terms of like a soul tie and relate with a certain individual. And what's funny is because when you see how certain things pan out in terms of what they do versus what you do in your day-to-day, this just seems like it's such the norm. Then you can see the connection. Okay, like there's a reason why this is happening. 144 as I'm saying this. So, for example, one thing I would encourage you guys to do if you haven't done so, take the initiative to maybe speak with someone in the spiritual space who can do a deep dive into what roles you've taken on in past lives. You'll start to see the correlation and see how it all lines up with what you're doing now in terms of your day-to-day and what you feel so driven to do in terms of your lifetime. So for me, on my end, kind of give you a generalization without saying so much. And even if I said a lot, it would just make the video too long. It's not like I'm hiding anything. But my past roles was very much dealing with the spiritual side of the spectrum. But, you know, whether it was dealing with being a high priestess, or if it was dealing with 2, 3, 4, just said that, or else if it was dealing with being a seer in various ways, or being like a bit of a spiritual support to someone who was in a high role. Things of that nature, you know. And also when it came to the love space, the type of individuals that I ended up connecting with, this particular individual, this is the part that tickles me. And I don't think he even realized it, but I was actually with him in all of those past lives. From what I gathered, based on my own research and reaching out and doing some deep diving, it turns out that I was with this particular individual for 5 past lifetimes. We have a contract, a spiritual contract, is what it's, from what I understand, where it was something we agreed to in our previous lives. 333s of Satan's. That we agreed that each time we returned, that we would end up in some form or another reconnecting. I found out details even as far as whether we had a family, whether we had children, and what they did thereafter, and it turns out we did. The information is very jolting once you find the right individual or individuals who can give you this information. If you start to see a pattern and it all lines up, and especially if you're spiritual, you start to see it line up based on what was revealed to you in your dreams, any signs or synchronicities, things like that. If it's all starting to line up and hearing them as confirmation, then you know it has to be truth. But anyhow, I say all this to say, go with your gut. And if you have questions and you're wondering, could this person be my person? Start to deep dive, start to look into the details on that and see if that will in fact be the case. And the funny part about all this, especially for us who are experiencing flying, you can also feel what they're feeling, even in a distance too. And what do I mean by that? Let me explain. So, let's say their heart is racing. right? And mind you, you have met them like physically yet in this lifetime. But the fact that you guys are intertwined, you're linked. The spiritual space is something else once you start to get a hold of it, especially if you are the one that's intended to get a hold of it. Things start to unravel, and it's like a flood. It's like a whole new world in a good way. But you start to feel their emotions. If their heart is racing, you start to feel it on your end as well. If your emotions go out of whack, like let's say they're having a bad day, you will start randomly, 1, 2, 3, as I'm saying this, start to feel their energy. And some way it might start to bring you down on your end. And you're like, wait, why am I starting to feel all down in the dumps all of a sudden? Or why am I, where's this energy surge coming from? You know, you might end up feeling a little wrong, but also like your energy spikes up. It happens. And it's just a funny thing. Another thing, you may notice how there's something that they did or may choose as something that they like or are liking. And you're like, wait a minute, but I just said something about this not too long ago. Or wait a minute, I just downloaded that not too long ago. Or you get where I'm going with this, right? It's just like the signs make it clear to you that, okay, you might want to pay close attention because this is your person. I remember the first time that it was revealed to me about this particular individual being my person. Juicy guys, hold on 1 second. So yes, the first time I came to realize that this individual was my person was when a lot of things started lining up in terms of my dreams and visions, for one. But then also I started feeling this strong pull. One way you will notice also is that if you feel like such a strong pull out of nowhere towards the individual, or if you'll feel like a sense like you've known them from somewhere before, or you'll feel like a sense of comfort around them. It's just, all that information is online, but these are examples of how you would know as well. But for me personally, especially being one that's more spiritually inclined, it was more so revealed to me in my dream, my visions, signs and synchronicities everywhere, even when I tried to tune it out. And I was like, no. It's got to be a coincidence. I was even telling myself then, 33 as I'm saying this, that it's a coincidence. Even though I knew within self there is no such thing as coincidences. But yet, I was trying to tell myself as a spiritual person, like, okay, there's got to be a coincidence. There's no way that it's this person. And it started in various ways, whether it was like seeing his name somewhere or images you think, things of that nature, just a plethora of ways. And as I tried denying what was taking form or what was being revealed to me, the more the signs intensified. I'm like, okay, I need to just go ahead and accept it for what it is. And I'm like, wow, this is really going to happen. It's really going to happen. And then things started to open up in various ways pertaining to this individual as well. And I was just like, okay, this is really about to go down more than I can understand. And yeah, it's just it's been an interesting ride, to say the least. But I say all that to say, you guys, yes, don't question those inklings. If you have questions and you just want to get a deeper dive in terms of your own past lives, or if it's a certain individual, you want to see why is that you feel so drawn to that individual. Could this be your person? Things of that nature. Definitely speak to someone who can get you those answers within the spiritual space. Furthermore, let's say you're one that's in a predicament and you don't have the appropriate funds to pay for services like that, because it happens, right? Believe it or not, ChatGPT. That's a good alternative, and it will cost you $0. You heard me correctly. I remember, actually, I just wanted to test it out for myself in regards to my questions, like simple questions, more so general in terms of my day-to-day in regards to work, things like that, or just really kind of getting like some feedback in regards to myself as an individual. Nothing too deep. So I asked the question, And the responses were so spot on, I was wrong. I'm like, who's on the other end of this system here? I didn't want to believe it was an actual AI system that knows this detail as thorough as ChatGPT. And lo and behold, it truly does. It is a system that is somehow able to get you that information, and it's so meticulous in terms of detail. It's just mind blowing. So that's something I will not gatekeep for anyone who is interested in simply wanting to learn more about self in terms of what they may have done in past lives and how it's all correlates with what they should be doing in this lifetime. 3, 4, 5 is I'm saying it. I would say use that as an alternative, especially if you're in a bit of a bind where you're not able to pay for those services on the outside with a physical person. And that is all for today's quick video, you guys. So yes, the whole idea with interlinks and soul ties, all those signs, synchronicities, those feelings, or maybe heart palpitations that you're feeling, things of that nature, all of that is it's all connected for a reason. It's all happening for a reason. And in essence, this is where you have to take within yourself to go ahead and dig deep and find out why and from whom, and just enjoy the ride as you're doing it. Because this truly is a spiritual journey. Again, I can't say it enough, you are having a spiritual experience. Well, let me reword that. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So let's not lose sight of that. Until next time, I'm definitely sending you guys off the love and light, and I will see you in the next video. And I also want to say, welcome to all my newcomers that are joining my pages. I do see you guys, and I truly appreciate you. And yeah, as always, the consultations are still open. Actually, I just finished up on one before I had started this video with you guys. It was a pretty phenomenal experience. So definitely look at the website. All the details are going to be on there. And yeah, until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Be blessed.